Okay.
And then it occurred to me, okay, I created these killer videos that I'm then putting in a sequence on Kajabi, feeding it out, created the freebie link, the offer, made it like an offer to sign up, the registration thing. And videos that I'm then putting in a sequence on Kajabi. And so what I'm wondering about is actually a Loom question.
Okay.
Is that an insane thing to have as a freebie, those links where people can comment below? Like if somebody comments, am I the only one who sees the comment, or does everybody who subscribed to this thing see the comments?
If they're making the comments on the Loom video,
Yeah.
then yes, they will all see the comments below the video.
Okay.
Yes.
That's a bit of a problem for a freebie that I would be sending out to a lot of people. So I'm going to download those videos and put them on my YouTube channel as invisible or something, and then feed it through the drip that way.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then so I'd have to turn well, okay, never mind. Okay, I know what I'm doing now. Okay, thank you.
You'd have to turn the comments off.
Right, right. But in the video, I said comment below for the da-da-da. So that would be, okay, very good.
Yeah, no, Loom is great for that. And you might be able to, on the Loom, turn comments off.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, so you could do that if you wanted to turn the comments off on Loom. You could do that, and then you don't have to migrate it over to YouTube. But if you want the traffic from YouTube, then I would put it on YouTube.
Right, because that would increase the comments for those videos. Even if I had them public, I mean private or invisible or whatever, what would the thing be? I mean, I guess you could just have it be on YouTube as well and have it be a 5-day thing on YouTube. That would increase my YouTube channel and get people to from the link on Linktree, it would get people. Okay, that's a brilliant thing, because then they'll get turned on to it and subscribe. Oh, brilliant. Okay. Anyway, so that's what came from my coming to your call last week.
Nice.
That's huge. Thank you. Yeah.
Nice. We love when good ideas come bubbling to the surface.
Yeah.
Totally. Carolyn, do you have any questions?
Did you just ask me? Because you went out for a second. Okay.
I did. I totally did.
I'm such a newbie. I feel like I'm probably going to be asking too basic of questions.
We like basic.
I love basic questions.
It always fills the hole for somebody else.
Yeah, totally.
Well, I sent you a message. So I have, I'm not even sure. I have a million questions for you, but one of them is, and I think I found you through trying to search the answer on this, is what I have been doing is offering courses that had basically a beginning and an end. People would sign up and then that course would be gone. It would be offered once.
Got it.
Now I want to offer a course that I don't know if I would be using the word drip. I don't know if that's correct, but they're going to get course material this month, next month, and the next month.
Okay.
And I guess my question is, I don't want to be confusing about it. So ideally what I want to do is have them, this is kind of like a beta thing I'm doing the next 3 months as a beta thing for next year. Okay. Thinking about people joining, and I haven't set up exactly when they would be able to join. So I'm trying to decide, how do you set up the product and offer? That I would just do one product. People would buy the product, they would do the course, and then it would be over. So now I'm looking at having a course that I'm adding material to it, but I don't want the people who paid from the very, I don't want to get confusing here. I'm going to just let you, I'll stop
No,
there.
you're good. What's the course? What's the one that, this is the one that you're doing in beta, right?
Right.
Okay. What's the course?
What do I teach?
Yeah.
The subject is what I teach is I teach balanced seasonal sustainable meals. So I teach people how, like next month, what's in season and how to make that balanced and sustainable seasonal using no like weird dietary practices, just USDA,
Right.
just that kind of thing. So
the person,
go ahead.
when do they end? If I bought it now, would I stop buying it or would I continue as long as you operate it?
For this new setup?
Yes.
Is that, yeah. So what I set up in the offer was a kind of a membership where
Okay.
it's a reoccurring payment.
Yep. Got it. And did you say you were going to do open and closed where it's open at certain times or open all the time?
I really need to open and close.
Okay.
Because people cannot come in the middle of the process. It's too confusing.
Got it. Okay. So ideally this is going to go on forever. Right? If it's recurring.
Then I looked at a couple different models and I looked at the model where after a year is over, then it would start over again.
Okay.
And I'm not quite sure how to set, I was looking for advice on how to set that up as well.
So, okay, let's say if you were going to start this soon, when would it start? Like, would it start October, November, December?
So for this model, I'm kind of testing this model October 1st. So there's people who have signed up.
Okay.
And they would start October 1st. They would, I take them, I really handhold through a course in October and in November and in December. So then that price, that offer would be over. So I'm actually looking at in between while they're running this beta course is to test out different things so I can do the following January. But I'm not quite sure. Like I said, I don't know how to set that up with, I like the 3 months open and close.
Okay. So the people that join here, the ones that are signed up, we're going to make them orange. So they do this 3 months. Would they then have the option to go and move forward to that?
Yes.
Okay. So hold on, we use blue people for our second group. So let's say second group is blue. Would they come in and do, even though the dates would be different, would they do this content and then this content?
No.
Everybody stays on the same, no matter when they can join, everybody stays together.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the second group that joins new would look like that. They would come in January, February, March.
And like you, I mean, I haven't been here very long, but there's clearly people who know more.
Mm-hmm.
And that first group's going to know more than the second group, but it's not going to hurt either group. I mean, the second group's just not going to know what the first group learned.
Gotcha. Yeah, if it's not a groups can come in at the same time. Just like I always like to think about it in terms of like a college standpoint. they can all join the same university. There's certain pieces that are always the same. There are times where freshmen have an additional orientation and there's something special that happens sophomore year, and the juniors get a perk, and then the seniors have their own thing. So sometimes even within the context of, hey, we're all together, there may be smaller subsets of, okay, does the second group need the equivalent of a freshman orientation? Okay.
I was thinking of making that a separate product because they will.
Mm-hmm. So that's how you lay it out. So you go, okay, they need a freshman orientation. And the nice thing is, let's say this second group, somebody decides when you're setting this up, and I'm going to try and go very sequentially so it doesn't get confusing. But let's say I bought on 11/15. What I could get right away would possibly be the orientation materials, so that I can kind of go through those before the next session starts on 1/1. Now,
Right. Yeah. Okay.
when you're setting this up and you're putting it in a product here, because you're going to use one product, right?
Well, that was a question that I had for you, because I was going to use one product, but then a separate product for the orientation.
Okay.
I don't know if that makes sense or not.
What makes you think they might need to be in separate products? Because what you can do,
I don't know.
My gut says that's okay. My gut says that freshman orientation can be in this product anytime. Like, this can always be published, because even the veterans, I have so many PBK veterans, and they still like to go back through orientation when I run it. They're like, oh, could you put the tag on me? Because I use tags so that they get the notifications. But I mean, I have some people that have been with me going on 5 years, and they still like orientation. So I don't know that you want it, that it needs to be.
Okay, so here's where my newbie question is. Where does that sit? Where is that?
It sits in a category. So we'll pop into Kajabi real quick.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'm picturing how I set up courses in the past, and
Nope, let's just pop in.
Would it be like the first category of any course? Like your welcome thing?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so just put it at the top and to make it, okay.
Yep.
Right.
So when you're in your Kajabi, can you guys see Kajabi?
Yep.
Okay. So we can go into products, and we'll just make a new one. And I'm a big fan of just using the blank product. All of these are exactly the same structurally, except for community. Community is built on a totally separate functionality platform, but everything else, a product is a product is a product. I am a huge fan of build from scratch, because otherwise you end up having to delete stuff that you wouldn't use, or it gets confusing, especially if you're a new person, in terms of, oh, well, it says if this is a membership, I should do this. So it gets, I find in helping people, it gets really confusing. So start from scratch doesn't get confusing at all. So here on this blank category, you can make this, let's just call it welcome. I'm gonna do everything in caps.
I said foundations for my course.
Yep.
Because there's
do.
trainings I do for everybody.
Yep. So you make that published. Oh, goodness. Are you guys out there? Sorry, Zoom's getting in my way. So I'm going to click save because I want this to be published. Now here, I could even add a subcategory. So for you, if we wanted to call it freshman orientation, maybe there's 3 or 4 videos. So here, I can move this to published. I can click on a post and put video 1 or lesson 1 or whatever it might be. And I move it to published because I want them to see it. So as soon as it saves, there we go. So this, and if we go back, I can preview this. Okay. So this is the Premier product theme. Can you guys see it?
Yep.
Yep.
So here, all we've done so far is we've said welcome or the foundations, which is what Bambi uses. I can have a how to navigate around, how to find what you're looking for, freshman orientation, 1, 2, 3, whatever it might be. So this is what it ends up looking like. Now, when you are, so we'll add in a category. Is October, November, December, is that like fall recipes?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yep.
And then are you going to have like spring, summer, winter?
I'm thinking of this fall as a separate product than next. I guess I should back up and say, how does someone coming in if a group starts January, February, March, and then a new group starts, an additional group starts April.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that I don't want them to have access to the people starting then should not have access to January, February, March. I don't, you know what I mean? Like
I do. Let me get whiteboard back in here.
I guess that's what is confusing me and how to set this up, because for everything that I do, there's a lot of people who watch the video and then they have the information, they keep it on their phone. But there's a lot of people who print out everything, and it doesn't make sense to me to have people just start paying halfway through the year, but have access to the whole set of everything. I don't know how to do it. I guess I'm trying to figure out how to do this in a fair and price proper way.
Okay.
Because normally I just set up the course, they buy it, that's it. It's not available anymore.
What if you had it, because are you doing it like a membership kind of thing?
That's why I'm trying to set, it's always been a course, and now I'm trying to set it up as a membership.
So what if it was they pay one fee for the 3 months being fall right now, right? What you're doing. Let's say it started September, October, November, and then you have winter, because you're doing seasonal recipes, right? What if the membership was they're actually paying one fee for 3 months?
I'm sorry, I lost you today.
We lost you, Bambi.
She's completely out.
Is she gone? Okay, she'll be back.
Okay.
She'll be back. Okay. So we're going to call this group 1. So group 1 comes in, they pay for January, they decide to keep continuing like this. Now, when you're switching this from course to recurring model, which I think makes a lot of sense on so many levels.
Okay.
I'm going to give you an example of someone doing this in a completely different niche, because I think this model could end up serving you very, very well. Okay. So Holly Gillen, who is go-to video gal, she is doing seasonal recipes, but for video prompts. So for, the spring, here's prompts and she's really geared it towards North American holidays for, social media and videos and that topics and that kind of stuff. But what she's doing when we were talking it through and putting this whole thing together, really, no one ever really goes back and digests everything. They don't. It's why when people join PBK, I have learned, just let's open up the ball. Like, they're gonna stay right where you want to, where they want to be. And if they want to go back and watch membership calls from 5 years ago, by all means, go for it. Because the management side of trying to say, okay, making it a magazine subscription, you joined the magazine in March, so you don't get January and February issues. Trying to control that with digital content becomes a management nightmare for most people. So what Holly and I did, hers is recurring. And so you pay here. So pay for, do this way, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. And like I told her, I said, you don't want to be creating, like, January is going to come around every year. February is going to come around every year. Do you want to be creating new content, even though it really isn't changing, like minor tweaks? And she's like, no. I said, okay, so this is what we do. They pay here, they consume here. But when March is done, this goes back to draft. Now they pay here, they consume here. So this we can make this so that these categories show. When Q2 is done, this Q3 goes to published. Q4 goes back to, Q2 goes back to draft. So the people that, especially for yours, when you're teaching them seasonal, if I'm in July, I'm not likely going to want to go back and cook something from January, right?
Right.
So in their product, it's all in the same product. This you handle manually. You hit draft or you hit published. So
yep. Okay.
what he does is when, the end of the content hits, like, yep, we're done with this. We're moving on to this next section of content. She turns it back to draft. So it's gone. Because they need to be moving on to April, May, and June anyhow. So
can that orientation still be at the top?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And published. Okay, so I can have parts that are published and parts that are in draft.
Yes. So what it ends up looking like is orientation. And we'll use green because it's green in Kajabi. Orientation is published. Then let's say we're in Q4 right now. So Q4, Q1, Q2, Q3. So Q4 is published. But gray, this is in draft, this is in draft, and this is in draft. So when they're buying the product, sorry, I'm gonna make you guys a little bit car sick. We're gonna come over here. These people right here that are signed up and that are gonna come through October, November, December. Now, when they open their product, they see orientation and Q4.
Perfect. I actually was thinking I was going to have to make that a separate product, but that's awesome. I can just do one product.
Yep.
Okay.
And if you keep it such that, let's say it's a year from now, okay? It's a year from now. So we would be September 2021. We will make it through 2020 somehow. Oh, it's your real end.
From your mouth.
2021 has got to be better. It has to be better. When they log in, they are going to see the same things here and here. Now, you might have some tweaks. Like maybe you added a recipe or maybe you changed some, a minor piece, but you didn't go down here and do this. This is what I'm trying to show you. I don't then need to have a whole nother year's, all of this content. We can reuse this. The seasons are coming back around. So when you rotate it, and this is where the recurring payment easily comes into play. If you open, oh goodness, let's say the last 5 days of March. So 5 days in Q1, and you open the last, to taking new people in, last 5 days of Q2. You could even do it as 3 days, minus 3 days, 5 days Q3, 5 days Q4. When they are coming in and enrolling, they may have, like I said, 3 to 5 days where they might see Q4. Actually works in your favor. It gives them a little bit of a preview, like, oh, cool. Yep, this is what we've just finished up. And you can make that part of the orientation. We're getting ready to start. Your quarter is, your season is going to unlock. But just to get you comfortable, you can use that content that is already out there for your previous quarter members as a way to onboard your new members without needing to make a whole lot of extra content. And then,
so just say clearly a window of time, members, this is going to be going away in this many days. New people, this is going to be going away. Take a look now. Like, okay.
Yep.
Awesome.
And
that's great.
That way you set it up so you really have 5 categories, orientation plus 4 seasons. If you want to put in bonus content or complementary content, you can put it in a different category. It can be published or not, depending on what you want. But that way you're using one product. You're not trying to move people in and out of different places. And you're really helping their overwhelm factor.
Yeah.
Because it's seasonal. I only need to pay attention to April, May, and June.
Okay.
Make everything else go away. Does wonders for retention rates. Because they're
and if I want to add, so there is a huge education component. So if I add a category of education, that would go up by the orientation.
Yeah.
You would put that there. Okay.
We can come right in here. Can you guys see Kajabi?
Yeah.
So here's orientation. Do you want it as a separate subcategory, or do you want it as like videos within the orientation process?
Another category would be.
So it can be a top level category. Sorry, up here.
Oh.
I can make it top level, or I can make it a subcategory of welcome. So if you say, nope, it needs its own category, we'll make it published. We'll make fall recipes published. See how it shows up with the white background? So there's education and there's fall recipes. We don't have any posts in there, which is why you don't see them, but I can, freshman orientation is part of welcome. This is a subcategory. So making education its own category, it can be right underneath the welcome, or I can easily flip it. You're like, oh, you know what? I really wish I'd built that and made it a subcategory. Not a big deal. You just go into this little box. You move it to the welcome. You hit save. Now it is a subcategory. I don't have to rebuild anything. I just tell Kajabi, hey, I would actually like that somewhere else, please.
Can you also duplicate something to put it in a couple different modules?
You can copy and paste. We don't have the duplicating function yet.
Okay.
In terms of, I would like, this post to be in 3 different places.
Yeah.
you can copy and paste and put it in 3 different places.
Okay.
But this way, so if we go back here, so we'll make this spring. Spring is what? Q2. See how this stays draft? That means you're not going to.
Yep.
So the nice thing is you can put in whatever summer Q3. So they're all right here. And
Okay.
from year to year, you're not having to rebuild things. Oh, sorry, where would winter be? I did my seasons.
Oh,
I did my seasons wrong. Oh,
That's
well.
okay. I got you.
Guys.
That was super helpful. Oh my gosh. No, how do I separate? No, I make them separate offers then. So the offer is spring 2 or the offer is summer 3.
Well, because you're only going to be open certain times of the year, if they're staying, come on, Kajabi. You should be able to just create the offer. Come on. Oh, you know what? I got to go back this way. There we go. So I don't want it to be 0. So here, edit the price, recurring subscription. So here, I can bill if you want to bill quarterly, then you make it every 3 months. Let's say it's 100 and click save. So by only being open for, say, the last 3 days of the month or the last 5 days of the month, you're going to keep everybody in their lane, so to say. So I can't buy, when the offer is not open, you just move it to draft right here. It doesn't affect anybody that's already purchased it. It just means no new people can purchase it. So you don't have to keep making new offers. Right here, the product is included, and we'll just click save. And when people quit, like let's say they cancel. So you can go in your automations right here. You can I would do the canceled one, then deactivate from offer, choose. You're forever in my system now, Carolyn. How I remember everything. Once I figured out maybe ask the people who had the question, I don't forget.
So then you have to put in your email sequence, I would assume, a notification to unsubscribe, because the way the offer's set up, it's going to charge them $100 again, correct?
Yeah, unless they.
So I'll just have to send an email saying do nothing, or.
Right. So when you're putting it together, when you're crafting the experience and you're lining out everything on your timelines, I'm a huge, huge fan. If you've never read the book, Never Lose a Customer Again by Joey Coleman, fantastic book. You take care of his book, you end up with you don't have to end up taking care of your retention issues. Like, he's so good, but he's really, really good at practical timelines. So, make you guys a little carsick here. In your timelines, as you're creating them, what I always say is when you've reached 75% of whatever the time frame is. So in your case, let's say it's right about here. Yes, we want to send some emails, really letting them know what to look forward to. Hey, here's next season. Like, here's the cool stuff that's going on, blah, blah, blah. Also, you want to include the link so that they can cancel. But that's really like the sub part. The thing is, I'm going to assume you're happy and you want to stay. And here's all the cool stuff coming up for the next season, and here's when it's going to start, and maybe, you know, here's a preview of something, like whatever it might be, as you're crafting their experience of being in this product and bringing this community with all these other people, that's where you put it. So, and I would just do email broadcasts, especially the very first year out. Don't try to automate it with sequences. You won't get the timing right. It'll be crazy stressful. If you goof it up, you'll be really hard on yourself. You just go, oh, you know what? It is November 15th. I need to send an email broadcast to everyone that owns said product.
Okay.
Stay in control. It is super easy. You keep track of what you do throughout the year, because if you do keep running it, then yes, you can turn the automations on. But at that point, you're scaling the success of it because you already know, oh, this is when this email goes out. This is the content of it. And you're not trying to guess all of counting days and stuff. When you're like, just send an email broadcast. Super easy, gets the job done, not a big deal. Same thing out here, you know, wherever. Now, I would definitely recommend talking to them much more frequently in here than just at the 75% mark. But that's what I use as like a good bookend. Like when you're in that last 25%, what do we need to say to them for whatever the next thing is? Even if the next thing is it's ending, you know, the course is winding down. Here's, you know, the, you know, cleanup issues or whatever might be going on. Does that help?
That was freaking awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, that helped a lot. And bringing up when you just brought up, oh, can I ask another question? When you brought up the broadcast, I currently am using ConvertKit, and someone started helping me with emails and the just management. I have a few thousand people in there, and they said, why aren't we using Kajabi? And I am so stuck. I don't know what to do. I just figure I go in and I look at all the I have no idea what to do. I just thought stay in ConvertKit, or I don't know what
Use
is your
Kajabi.
Use Kajabi. Okay. I got to make that leap. I got to have the shift happen. Yeah.
If you want, and I'm with Dan's one of our PBK Gold members. I was with ConvertKit. I moved to Kajabi once they turned email on.
Okay.
It was rudimentary at best at the beginning. Now, for myself, and this is where I always tell people, what is the lifestyle you want with this business? For me, bring it all in-house. If it can be in here and I'm not paying people or using my time to hook things up to outside things.
Right. Okay.
That's money in my pocket and life outside of my laptop. I don't like taking my laptop to the beach. I just want to go to the beach. So with that said, you don't have to do all the pieces at once. So if like, you're like, oh my gosh, I got to get this product up and this new recurring thing, get it up, keep using your email the way that you know how to use it, and say, you know what, I do want to move it into Kajabi. Okay, then you plan like the move-in process, which for some people is super easy. You know, some people who had Infusionsoft for 10 years, their move was a little bit trickier because they had so many things that they needed to hook back up. But it really depends on how do you want to run the business. And for me, having it in one place, I would never, like, I just wouldn't leave that because it's too much freedom, in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's so good to know.
I moved from someone that starts with an A.
A Weber?
Weber?
No, I had that one, and then I moved to
Active Campaign?
Yeah, that's it. Loved it. It was great software, but about a year after Kajabi's email came out, I switched from Active Campaign to Kajabi, and I'm so glad I did.
Mm-hmm.
So I took my list
Awesome.
out of Active Campaign into a spreadsheet, and went through every name. I had like 8,000 names, and I got rid of, a lot of, crud. And then I imported, I think, about 6,000 some into Kajabi, and never looked back. So it's just been awesome. So yeah, since then I've done some, I've gotten rid of the ones that aren't opening their emails at all. Some of the hard bounces I've gotten rid of, or all the bad hard bounces. I'm still working on them. So I'm up to about 3,600 of really good names.
Mhm.
So now my open rate's up to, anywhere from 30 to 50%. So it's working well. It's working very well. And I love
That's
their
awesome.
I love their new email
Mhm.
system with the page layout and stuff. Yeah, you won't regret it.
Okay, I
Really,
appreciate that. Thank
yeah.
you.
It really works
And
well.
especially if you're going to do open and close carts in Kajabi, we can make events. And so the events, like the countdown timers, can then, like, if you're like, oh, the cart is going to open or the cart is going to close, and you're sending those emails out, they can look incredible. And you can get those countdown timers so that when someone opens their email, they're like, oh my goodness, she's closing in 2 days, or she's opening in 2 days.
Yeah.
So instead of having to, like I said, hook everything up and be like, oh, I got to coordinate and I got to hire this and I got to get this person, or I have to learn it.
Yeah.
Both Dan and I have done very well. We're like, no, just keep it over here, keep it really simple. And
Mhm.
if you are running ethical communications and you are being the person that people want to hear from, I don't have a single, like the email issues that you might hear people talking about in the big group. I don't have any of them. Like, I've got crazy high click-through rates, crazy high open rates, because I focused on being the person that someone wanted to hear from versus buy my thing before the false scarcity countdown timer ran out. So
Exactly.
using email and being like, I'm going to be the person that they want to open it. I've never had an issue at all. But there's other people that are like, oh, it's horrible and there's this and that. I think the issues that Kajabi has are the same anybody else does. Like, you're probably being a little unethical in you're a schmarm. Sorry, I don't open emails from the schmarmy people anymore. And I unsubscribe and they don't take me off their list. So I'm like, fine, just keep me, because I'm messing up your delivery rates because you're being a schmarm.
Yeah.
Don't be a schmarm. And it's good. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's good.
Okay. So I'm going to do that learning curve.
Yeah,
That's coming.
Focus on your products.
Yeah.
Get get the products in there so that you can sell the thing and turn it on. You can turn it on in phases. You can go cold turkey. It's whatever works for what you're working with at the moment.
I'd recommend, exporting your active campaign list, note the date, because you get new emails after that. And then you can grab those when you're ready to make the switch.
Mhm.
Start going through that list. And, there'll be names you recognize that you want. There'll be names that haven't opened an email.
Mhm.
In fact, you could probably even do some of that in Active Campaign before you export the list. I don't remember. It was a long time ago I did that, so I don't remember all the steps I took. But I spent a fair amount of time just perusing my list and making sure the people I brought into Kajabi were the ones that I wanted and the ones that wanted me. And so it's worked well. And since then, it's, I'd get very few, what do I get? The last one I did was 3,500 emails went out. I had a 99% delivery, 32% open. I had 5 unsubscribes and I had 3 hard bounces. So it's getting pretty clean now. And it's not a huge list. It's not a small list. It's a good list. And that's what I'm really concerned about. And that's what I like to do. So I might put on 300-400 people a month on my list. And I'll lose some of those through hard bounces, through opt-outs, through this and that. But so I keep building my list of really good emails, slow but sure. It's working. It's
Awesome.
working well. But I really did like Active Campaign. It was a nice It was a nice program, but I hated having 2 separate programs.
Yeah, it's the hooking
Yeah.
up. The
Yeah.
it's the communicating. It's the
Oh, yeah, I came from the WordPress world with, I had this and that and that and all of this and that and that. And it's like, none of that anymore. It's gone.
I just switched over from WordPress. I just switched over. So everything is a huge learning curve, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
And so now,
when I set up my first membership site, I gave myself 9 months before I would, I first started setting 9 months from now, I'm going to be really good at this. And I was, because I put a lot of time into it, but I knew going into it, it was going to be a lot of work. And yeah, and you've got one of the best teachers in the Kajabi world at your disposal with Tamsin. So yeah, you're in good company here.
awesome.
I'd say just keep asking questions, because we will gladly help you.
Yeah.
But yeah, one product, one offer. You don't need to have multiple things. And I'll
So it's dangerous to say keep asking questions, because I'll keep doing. No, so in the third component of, normally I just would talk to my people when they sign up for the course. Then they would have days. I would talk to them basically every day on a conference call. I would use free conference call. Like what would you recommend to use? Because I need to communicate to them, and maybe I should be using YouTube Live. I don't know. I wouldn't post these videos that I have, because normally it's just talking with them. There's no visual.
do you record? Do you need to record them and save them, or it's just a phone call? I just need to talk to them.
Well, I'm thinking that I could record them, and that could be. Because it's somewhat Q&A, so it could be saved and people can go back and listen to the Q&A.
You can do Zoom. Zoom can now export audio. Like you can just export the audio portion of Zoom, or you can, something like this. Zoom is my go-to. If I'm sending messages to members, I'm doing it like 1-to-1. I'll use my voice memo or Loom to send like videos to people. But if it was like a daily check-in, my go-to would be Zoom, because I have it on, like, I'm comfortable with it. I can put the recording where it needs to go. If I need it to be just audio, I can have it be audio.
Okay. I find that there's a lot of people who are in this group because it's more than seasonal recipes. I mean, I said it to make it kind of short. There's a lot of, there's a lot more, there's many components to it, including like behavioral changes and habit changes. There's meditations. So I would always do it in a way that people could be anonymous.
Yeah.
So some of the video apps I notice people just won't participate.
Well, if you're having good participation,
it would be okay to still use that.
Oh gosh, yes. And
okay.
These are the other things you can do. I don't have this in my group. I'm just going to show you. I could remove that. I could rename this. There's some like people that need the anonymity that do choose to use Zoom. Part of their onboarding is to show people how to remove their picture and how to remove the name. Like,
oh, okay.
I could rename this with just a period. So I could be completely anonymous. I can't because my picture's still there. But the people that in PBK who need the anonymity factor and use Zoom, that's what they have as part of their welcome video is, hey, this is where we hang out on the calls. You can be as anonymous as you want to be. Here's how to turn your video off. Here's how to make sure you don't even have a picture showing. Here's how to remove your name. Glad to have.
Perfect. Okay. Great. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. And I'll send you I'll put the whiteboard images up in Mighty Network so you can download them if you want them that I drew for you.
Okay.
You can
Okay.
You're more than glad. Yeah, at least I have time. They're working on my countertops. That's the noise that you guys hear in the background. They're putting countertops today, Dan. Yay!
Well, that's got to be exciting.
It is so exciting.
What kind of counters did you get?
We did bathrooms and kitchen and a new kitchen island.
Did you do quartz or did you marble? What are you doing?
No, I did laminate.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Mhm.
The stuff still works, by the way.
I told my husband, I said, I am thankful that I like cheap boxed wine. And I'm really thankful that I actually liked laminate stuff because I took all my countertop money and I'm now going to put a pool in. So I'm actually very excited.
There you go.
Very excited that I was, I was like, I'm so happy. And I picked up the
That's
same
great.
one for all four places because there were too many choices. So yeah, originally we were doing
That's awesome.
sports, but then I was like, my husband's like, well, what about this? And I'm like, oh, that's pretty. He's like, it's laminate. I'm like, oh, sure.
Done.
What you got? What you got? I got expensive tastes in enough other areas. This one was good for me. So it's good for my pocketbook. Let's see. Elise had a question. Would you be willing to discuss North Pole more? What reed magnets would be more appropriate for various business styles versus what we like to do? You are not a blogger, but you like YouTube as your format. Yes. How do we decide what platform is best for us based on our audience we are trying to attract? Plain and simple, where's your audience? That's the best place to go.
And how do you find that out? Like, because I know one time you and I have been chatting and you said that mine is on Instagram, but I'm bringing this up for the group because sometimes I notice that that's a stumbling block for people in the North Pole. And sometimes for me, it's like, I know mine's an Instagram, but I don't really hang out on Instagram, but I'm forcing myself to, get over there and do it more. And then would there be a way for us to track or monitor that it's not Instagram anymore? It's really, some other format. Just trying to narrow it down to, should you just stay in one lane and go for it? Or do you put your dabble in a couple of different places? What's your experience?
I think it's pretty easy to figure out where people are. Dan, your people are on YouTube, right? Are they anywhere else really?
Facebook and YouTube.
Facebook and YouTube.
So
Yeah.
you narrowed it down to the two, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that works well. I
Yeah. Okay.
do have a lot
I
of
gotta
people
go,
on
guys. My
LinkedIn.
patience
Okay.
here. Sorry.
So,
That's okay. We'll do more tomorrow.
I was gonna say, I do have a lot of people on LinkedIn too, and we have been we've been doing our stuff over there too.
Gotcha.
So I went away from LinkedIn for a long time. And, I got a group over there with 3,500 people in it that I'd never do anything with. And it's like, I probably should do something with that group.
Maybe I should do something with those people.
But I need to go through that group because I bet 2,000 of them are just junk. They're not real people. So that's the other thing about that. But yeah, it's all good. It's all working. Yeah, I was just doing a little research there this week and looking